Gentlemen, due to a story last night, I feel the need to break an order I was given and tell you about the Missouri Goat Man. Now, I'm a chemical guy, and we all go into Fort Lost in the Woods to do training. This happened during an FTX out in the woods, next to a ridge and a large stream bed. Every night, there's a roaming guard of 2 privates, and we have our gay little blank adapters and we just roam about making sure no one is having sex. This happens one night when me and a buddy of mine are posted up in a couple of stumps by one of the light systems they drag out there. About 0300, me and my pal are set up under the lamps, soaking in the warm exhaust because it's 25 Fahrenheit outside and fuck if we're going to be moving. Watching the tents, joking how if anyone was going to do the nasty, it'd be difficult due to the cold, etc. Nudge buddy. Tell him to catch a nap. He lolls off and snoozing. Snow slowly drifting down through the trees, peaceful. Just kind of staring into the woods when I hear that crunch of snow. Extremely faint. Have to perk up my ears to make it out. Think to myself, there's no way some idiot's gonna freeze his nuts to some girl's ass. Must be a drill sergeant. Nudge my buddy awake. Tell him there's a DS in the woods. He perks up. We're both watching the wood line. Sure enough, we see a shadow come into the wood line. Crouching low. Amazing it can be this quiet in the snow. We both grin. Last time this happened, they dragged someone out and tied him to a tree for shits and giggles. The shadow gets well within the camp line, crouching really, really low. Looking back, it was weird. The tent rustles and the shadow instantly stands up to its full height. Fucking almost 7 feet tall. And has goddamn horns on its fucking head. Buddy and I suck in our breath and our eyes are wide. This isn't a fucking DS. The whatever it was opens up the tent flap real slow, peeks inside. At this time my buddy has found a little radio we were given just in case we need to contact the drill sergeant. Buddy is freaking out and trying to get them out here, which causes them to freak out and come ghosting out of the fucking shadows. They startle us and my buddy yells. We all hear a loud grunt. All our heads turn to see this goat thing dragging a goddamn private. It has a female private. It has her leg. Holy shit, it's dragging her out of the camp. Nothing really happens for what feels like hours. Just this surreal fucking stare down. A female DS screams out a war cry and launches herself at full sprint at it. Rest of the DSs pull out their pistols and charge down to try and get the private. He hop up and run down, scrambling to grab the chick and haul her away. The DSs have taken off to chase whatever it was away from the camp. As we are dragging the chick away, the entire camp is now up and setting up a perimeter around the AHA and chow tent. 2 areas that have constant light. Tense as fuck. Everyone has their bayonets in their hands. DSs come back an hour later, looking worse for wear. Everyone loads up the Humvees and we get the fuck out of there. Apparently the drill sergeants had chased the damn thing over a creek, which it took off into the underbrush. The female soldier was okay. Whatever it was had smothered her till she passed out. Our command was weirded out, but didn't seem fazed, and simply made the DSs carry fully loaded M4s for the next rotations. Oh, big scary goat man? Nah, don't worry about it. Here's bigger guns. Yay, Army. And there are tons of these stories. People just tearing ass out of the woods in full kit, blubbering and getting discharged due to mental instability. I myself have only one other story, and this is from a friend of mine who went to MP training there. Friend is on the latest FTX in the dead of winter. He's set up with 3 other people in a tower overlooking a huge expanse of woods. Scheduled up for attack happens, everyone's having fun, shooting blanks, cack. Suddenly a couple of dudes come barreling out of the woods carrying a guy who has a fucking tree branch lodged in his thigh. Everything stops. Everyone leaps into action and drags him onto the FOB. He's screaming and crying about the deer man. DSs instantly scramble for their M4s and get on a loudspeaker, demanding every private into their little hutches. DSs break a major rule and hand out live ammo to everyone. Everyone's tense as fuck. That one dude is screaming, "The deer man! He's out there! Jesus Christ, protect me! The deer man! Ah!" And he just keeps screaming until the medics arrive. Camping with friends. Walking along this path with my friend talking loudly. She asks me, "Oh crap, Meg, did you bring an extra sleeping bag for me?" "Yeah, I got it, we're good." We keep walking, getting pretty far away from camp. Suddenly from the brush across the stream that our path paralleled, it was so inhuman, sounded like an animal almost. It repeats several times. Each time it sounds more and more like my friend. We were terrified. We started running back, hearing the leaves moving behind us, too terrified to look. From behind us, in a low whimper, "Wait, I'm hurt!" Sounds just like me. I'm crying. We keep running. As we get closer to the opening into the field we were camping in, the bushes are thicker. We're not real fit, and we've been running pretty hard. Gasping for air, directly from the right of us. "Tired yet?" Sounds like her again, but with almost a bark. Shaking so hard at this point, I turn and look back. See this massive mound of fur in the bushes turn around and go back the way we came from. Get to the camp and tell our friends what happened. They of course don't believe us. We refuse to stay there that night. Get in the car and drive to town and sleep in a cheap motel. About 10 p.m. her phone rings. Friends at the camp. "Jesus, will you guys give it up? It's been 2 hours. You're not scaring us, just keeping us from sleeping." Friend gets hysterical, telling them to leave. They're convinced we drove back there and are in the woods yelling that we're hurt and for them to come help us. I turn up the motel TV and let them hear we're in town. They hang up immediately and drive to our motel and spend the rest of the night. The next day we go back for our shit and never go camping again. Be me. 2 weeks ago, out at the deer lease with my friend. He says, "Hey Anon, I'm gonna head out." I'm bummed because it's only PM and we're supposed to spend the rest of the night out here. 10-4, dude, catch you later. He leaves the blind and heads off through the woods towards the trucks. About 40 minutes later I hear a tapping on the door. Look out the slide on the door. It's my buddy. He doesn't say shit, so I just let him in. "Thought you were heading out, man." "Knew you weren't gonna quit on me." Notice he doesn't have his rifle. "Where's your gun, dude?" "Oh, left it at the truck." "Oh well. Shit, you may as well have gone home." He just smiles and sat there. Didn't say a word, except for the occasional grunt of acknowledgement and of interest. It weirds me out because he's normally a pretty social guy, always talking about UFC shit or Mass Effect. I ask, "You okay, bro?" All he says is, "I don't feel good. That's all." About 5:30 a.m. he says, "Hey Anon, I'm gonna head on out." Before I can even reply, he's gotten up and exited the blind, and I can hear him tromping through the woods. At the time I thought, "Well, thanks for scaring off the deer, fuckwit." But now that I think about it, he wasn't walking towards the trucks. He was walking kind of off the way. About 7 a.m. I decide, fuck it, I give up. Pack my shit and head to my truck. His truck is gone, so I think nothing of it. The reason I'm bringing this up is that I talked to him earlier today and was asking if he felt better, and he looked at me confused and said, "What do you mean, Anon?" "You know, after you came back to the blind, you said you weren't feeling good. Figured that's why you weren't running your mouth about Quantry and pussy." He looked at me like I grew a second head and said, "Anon, dude, I didn't come back to the blind. I drove home, got home at 8 and went the fuck to bed. So yeah." I'm new to X, more of a commando, so bear with me on this. It also just happened tonight when I was coming back home, so I'm a little spooked still. Coming back from hanging out with bros playing vidya. By the time I'm leaving, it's pitch black, because he lives out in the vineyards of an empty farmland, so no streetlights out there. The clouds have been rolling in all day, so it's really thick now, so no star or moonlight. 1995 Toyota 4 running shitty lights, so yeet, high beams it is. I also just recently finished a kit for my Forerunner, stuff like tools and all. My dad got me a few fuzzies, one of them's a bit older. Decided to fuck around and burn off the older one before it goes bad entirely. Pick related. After driving for about 15 or so, I'm secluded enough to where no cars might drive by and get confused by the flare. After fucking around with the striker caps, because the old one was bad, I get it to ignite. After around maybe 3 minutes of burning it, I start waving it around because why not? As I'm holding it and taking pics, cause my aesthetics, I start looking around, taking in the pitch black scenery. As I look towards what I think what was maybe the east, I see a single green dot, similar to an animal eye. Seconds later, a couple more pairs. At first I'm like, maybe these are coyotes, cause this is their territory, but then I realized that's not how light reflection works with a fucking road flare. I didn't have the lights on my car, and the dots were almost half a football field away. I get fucking scared and start backing towards my car, and pull out a fucking pellet pistol from under my seat. All the while, the probably 7 or so eyes or dots, not moving, keep looking at me. No, I'm at about half of the fuzzy. It's about a 20-minute one. So I put another in my pocket, and with the pellet pistol in my other hand, I start approaching the dots. Jesus, I didn't actually know how long it was until I posted it. As I get closer, I realize that the dots keep moving back. No matter how many steps I take, it never gets closer. I'm starting to get doubts, and I begin to think maybe it was a packing house or a granary or something that turned the lights on. It was only 8 or 9 at the time. After about 5 or so minutes of just walking, at a decent distance away from my car, I say fuck it, and aim and shoot at one of the dots. One shot and it fucking disappears while the others fucking stay. Holy fucking shit, no. I fucking throw my remaining stump of a flare at that shit, and because of it being so old, it goes out as soon as it hits the ground. When the flare goes out, the fucking eyes or whatever grow fucking bigger. I'm fucking shitting my pants, god what the fuck? I empty the mag of like 20 in its general direction, and once it's empty, I stow it in my pocket and light the second flare I had with me. I strike it, and cause this one's newer, it burns better and brighter. The dots are still there, only this time it's missing the one I shot, and another, interestingly. As I reach my forerunner, I see a fucking silhouette under the fucking thing. I'm fucking scared shitless now, cause I left an extra pistol mag in the car, and the dots were fucking growing bigger now, to the size of a quarter from where I was at. I say fuck it and sprint towards the car with the flare pointed down to illuminate the ground as much as possible. The fucking thing under my car darts off into the fields away from me. I'm so fucking pumped with adrenaline that at that point I just get into my car and start the shit and floor it without closing the door or disposing of the flare. As I'm fucking bouncing my head on the potholes, I try to turn my headlights on and nothing happens. But I'm too fucking scared and pumped to care, so I just keep driving, using what little light I have to drive. I hit a pothole kinda bad and drop the flare on accident, but at least it gives me an excuse to close the door. After about 5 or so minutes of driving, at almost 50, I reach a liquor store with the light on and a couple of Mexican farmer dudes chilling outside. With the kit I got, all the while trying to calm down, I try to troubleshoot why none of the driving lights work. I also notice that I can see the flare down the road from where I came still. Gotta love Orion flares, they're bright as fuck. One of the guys who speaks some broken English asks why I don't have lights on, and I chat with him a little while, saying I'm trying to find out why and all. And eventually we get to the subject about what I saw. I described to him the green dots and the silhouette under my car, about the size of a toddler by the way, and he's nodding all the while but with an ever-growing expression of fear or something. I eventually tell him I shot at it a couple of times, and point to the pistol I've got, and then he freezes up and gives me a stare of, I don't know how to describe it, like hatred and sadness, and walks inside the liquor store. I shrug it off and get back to work on the lights. I remove one of the headlights and find that the filaments inside of the bulbs are just gone. Fucking non-existent. I got through all 6, headlights, DLR, and turn signal bulbs, and not a single fucking one had a filament. I go to the tail lights, and the same fucking story. I was super pissed off at the time because I had a good 25-minute drive away from home. I'm also super perplexed because I drove to the spot with the headlights on and everything. At this point, I don't care and replace them with some spares I've got. I need to go back there tomorrow when there's light to see where the fuck I threw that stump, where the other flare dropped, and also to get the fucking filament bulbs. I was super fucking stupid to throw those away there. That shit isn't normal. Man, what the fuck did I find then?